Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be talking all about the Southwick National. All right, Doc, so what was your biggest takeaway from Southwick in the 450 class?
All I wrote down was Tomac makes me sad.
Okay, that's basically mine too.
I keep trying to justify, be like, it's not happening, it's fine. And I just, it could just be the old passing of the baton, it could just be old father time. Because it's 5 rounds in a row now. We're almost there. And then we're not,
I think the sad part for me was in Moto 2, he had a 4th place start and he was struggling to get by Prado. Now, Prado, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but he was struggling to get by Prado, and Prado has been not the greatest as of late, and he picked it up in the sand. But then him kind of fading and having Hunter pass him, and he kind of got lucky to get a 3rd in Moto 2 with Prado going down, in my opinion. And as you wanted him to go 1-1 this past week, I don't know if that's actually going to happen this year, dude. I don't know if he's going to have a perfect day anymore.
That's what I mean. It's kind of hard to keep making, I don't want to say excuses, but keep finding ways to be all right, this week's, because this week's going to be the one. Again, Redbud could be one, right? But I keep saying that every week, and I don't know. I'm going to stick with it though. Okay. We're going to stay on the T-Mac train. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's just outpaced, it seems crazy to say that. I mean, it doesn't really seem crazy for me to say Jet's outpacing him, but like you said, it seems crazy that Hunter and old Jorge could be outpacing him. But he also doesn't look great. I don't know.
I mean, in each Moto too, I personally believe that if Prado doesn't go down, he's going to beat him straight up, both motos. And that is insane. You don't think that Tomac would be beat like that straight up, especially at Southwick where he's very, very good. But then again, I'm just going to be honest with this take, and it might sound harsh, but if Jet and Tomac start 1-2, I think Jet wins 100% of the time.
I don't know. I just don't think Tomac looks very good. I mean, there are times when he does, there are halves of laps where he looks okay, cool. All right, here we go, baby. I get all excited. It's time. He's about to uncork. And then he just looks uncomfortable or, and he's pumped up or his bike looks really bad or it's just really strange. I don't know. It's the weirdest. Maybe it's in his head, but again, I've said this all year. Tomac doesn't really strike me as a dude that lets stuff get in his head. I don't know. I hate it.
It's going to be very interesting to see if he can bounce back at Redbud, which we know he's very good at, right? But
he's good at Southwick.
Yeah, he's good at every single freaking track, let's be honest. Yeah. And he's getting beat straight up by the Lawrences. Southwick, he should have got beat by Prado, especially in Moto 2. And
AP's
so
dogged on him.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he can bounce back. And talking about Jet just for a little bit here, he just tied James Stewart for the most wins all time outdoors with 20.
Yeah. I mean, that was the most boring race that we've watched this year, I think, 450, other than watching Jorge, because that was really fun. But we're back, at least just Southwick is back to Jet being so good. It's not fun to watch. So perfect. So perfect.
He was insane out there. I mean, he got both starts. In first moto, I believe it was, he gapped him by 5 seconds within 2 laps.
Yeah,
and he just put on a clinic out there, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, he looks like Jeffrey Hurling's out there," and I'm like, who wins a matchup, Jeffrey or Jet in the sand right now?
Right now, Jet. Maybe
think?
peak Jeff.
Peak Jeff beating him 100%.
In the sand? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. I don't think anyone could ever beat Peak Jeff in the sand, but
that is very true. I actually just watched 2012 Belgium or GP at Lierop, and yeah, he beat everybody. He lapped up to second. So
yeah, but he's
insane
in the same.
But yeah, so shout out to Jeff for tying James Stewart. I believe, don't quote me, Ricky has 76 total wins. Does Jet get there? I mean,
What?
I'm gonna
So
be.
that's like 4 years of just dominating. That's like 5 years of just dominating. Is that total wins including Soupy or just outdoors?
That's just outdoors.
Oh, dude, that's like 5 years of just 6 years of just straight dominating.
And Jet is now, I believe, 20 of 21. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. He's gonna get there eventually, right? But yeah, so big shout out to Jeff for dominating once again. Tomac struggling. What's going on? I hope he bounces back for Red Bud.
Like, I just wonder though, like, is he really struggling or is he just getting beat?
He might just be getting beat straight up, and we just think it's
like,
struggling because we're not used to it.
That's what I'm saying. Because like on the podium, he didn't say. I mean, I didn't watch the second moto podium, but on the first podium, he just said like they're riding great. You know, like those guys are just ripping. You know, it wasn't like I was tight and pumped up or whatever. It was just like those guys are ripping. And I'm wondering, like, we keep saying, I mean, not just us, but like everyone keeps saying like, Tomac's struggling. Maybe he's not.
Maybe Jet and Hunter are just better right now.
Yeah, you know, I hate that.
I think everybody hates that besides Jet fans.
Yeah.
So,
which I mean, like, again, no disrespect to the Lawrence boys, but like, I hate this for us, you know.
I mean, let's see what happens at Red Bud. I think he could bounce back, but it's gonna. He needs a. We say this every week. He needs a perfect day, but okay.
I need a I need a Tomac AP 1-2. Both. I don't care what order it's in, but for 4th of July, okay, we need to bring it back. Okay.
Hey, it might happen. Okay, and then I'll switch it over to the 250s. My takeaway for the 250s is Deegan might be the best in the world. However, we have a great battle going on for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Like everybody, like. I really enjoy watching those guys battle to figure out who's going to get 2nd, to be fair, because we all know Deegan's going to win, right? And me personally, just as a fan, I enjoy watching those guys battle. And that's kind of what my takeaway is, because in Southwick, you had a bunch of people back and forth, like Tom Vial going down, battling back up. You had Jalik up there. You had Mikkel Harup up there. You had Levi, a little Levi showing. And Michael Mosman's looking great. And so we all know Deegan's the best, but it's still fun to watch the other guys battle it out. And that's kind of my takeaway.
The battle for 2nd is super, super good for sure. Especially with how like wildly inconsistent they all are. My takeaway, now this is a little like prediction / takeaway / let's have a little convo in the comments here. Deegan could win both of his motos if he races Motocross Nations, in my opinion. I'm not talking his class. He could win the motos. Because I know it's crazy. We're going crazy. But listen, there's already beef between him and the Jetson, right? You know, as soon as they get on a gate together, Deegan is going to like kill himself to win. You know?
Fair enough, like, yeah.
If there's any time that Deegs is like gonna have that chance, I mean, but can you imagine he beats him on 250 after all these guys could not on 450s?
It would be insane.
I actually think it's possible. Ironman's kind of a 450 track though. Like they have like a pretty big advantage.
I heard that they're gonna be changing it up though, where they're not gonna be using a lot of the big sections like Godzilla and stuff. So it could advantage Deegan. I mean, go back and watch last year. He dominated the 250 class.
Well, I mean, sure, right? Like Deegs is gonna like crush it there, but like
the start is the only problem. If he gets buried, obviously he's gonna make it through the pack. But if Jet gets that whole shot and he's kind of buried, it's gonna be hard to see that.
How come, I don't see a lot of people talking about Deegan's start technique. I know we're on a tangent here, but like he has the strangest start technique I've ever seen in all my years. Is he still
using those tall blocks? Because I know he used them a couple rounds ago.
I'm talking about when he clicks 3rd and he touches his visor to his gas tank.
Oh yeah, those photos. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But he's not looking anywhere. He is like it is the strange. I mean, it's working. I'm not criticizing, but it is the strangest and like most unique start technique I think I've seen in a really long time. Like he gets his body really long and like aerodynamic, which I feel like aerodynamics in like 60 to 80 yards probably doesn't make a huge difference, but maybe it does. But like, I don't know. I just don't see enough people talking about that. It is the oddest thing.
I mean, it worked. I mean, it worked. Though. Go look at Southwick, both motos. He had at least a full bike link, like on everybody.
Oh yeah.
So it was crazy.
Anyway, that's my takeaway. I think Deegs. This has nothing to do with this race. I know. I just think a Motocross Nations coming. Him and the Jet beef is already starting. I think whatever 450 class that Jet is not in, I would say there's like a solid 80% chance Deegs wins that, and then there's like it's like 50-50 against Jet. You know.
So I'll say
like
two things on this.
Jet side.
Deegan kind of made a statement in the Deegan's video, the Deegan's YouTube channel video, where he's like, I want to pull and I want to get a #1 for Motocross of Nations later this year. Like he kind of made a statement that he's going to be doing it, right?
I don't see any reason why he doesn't, you know?
Yeah, no, so I've heard it, like he made a statement about like he's going to be doing it. It's nothing's confirmed, so just keep that in mind. I did hear some rumors that it might be AP, Tomac, and Deegan out there. So keep that in mind. So that I think that those guys can win. And then my second thing, going back to your Jetson and Deegan beef, did you see them go back and forth on socials this weekend? So in an interview, Deegan on press day said that, yeah, ESPN's a huge deal. It's not like going to some fashion show. So I was like, I listened to that and I immediately was like, oh, that's a shot at Jet. Like immediately. And then after the race, you know how Deegan likes to show off on TikToks and socials with his watch and do all the freaking funny things. Jet did the same thing after the race, not even in an interview. The camera was just on him and he was like making fun of him. At first I was like, maybe Jet's just having fun because he has a watch sponsor, so maybe he was just making doing that for fun because he's a kid, man. He's like 20 years old, right? Doing the TikTok stuff. And then everybody blew it up and like, oh, it's a beef between both of them. And then Deegan made a comment on the Instagram saying, I'm already in his head. My gosh. Like, and so my question to you, I guess, is do you think Deegan is in Jet's head because Jet is doing all that stuff?
Not like in his head. It's like Jet's losing sleep over it. But like, I feel like anyone in the 450 class has to be looking at the 250 class and being like, wonder what he's going to do here next year. You know, like it's kind of hard not to notice 25 seconds on second place.
Okay. Then second question, when he moves up, say first year, me personally, I don't know if this is going to happen, but say first year, does Deegan beat Jet straight up first year on a 450 next year?
Just like any
race. Yeah. Like any race, like overall, I'm saying overall, he beats Jet in the overall straight up, them going at it. Any race.
Ooh,
I think there's a couple tracks he could.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, I think it's possible. I think there are a
couple tracks. But I think, me personally, I think it's going to take a year for Deegan to get to that level where Hunter, Jet, and Tomac are. Second year, it's going to be all out brawl between.
I see a lot of, you know, and people have been saying this a lot. I see a lot of similarities between Ryan Villapoto and Deegs. And if that translates to the 450, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be very,
like if that trend keeps, if the RV2 tendencies, I had a dream about Ryan Villapoto last night. It was crazy. Anyway, if the RV2 tendencies continue to the 450, like Deegs going to be a dog.
Yeah. I think Jet has the upper hand in Soupy, but outdoors, I think Deegan's going to be right there.
But like,
As of right now,
right? Of course, Jet's way better in Supercross than Deegs could ever imagine on a 250. But again, if we're taking that Ryan Villapoto 250, he was kind of mid. He wasn't, you know, he was.
That is very true. And then RV won 4 straight.
And then he was an animal on a 450. And like, I don't know, like I could see the 450 for Deegs being like a huge kryptonite because he likes to ride the bike so hard, or it's going to be perfect like an RJ Hampshire thing.
Well, I was gonna say you can think about Tomac, where he rides a bike so hard, and look at Tomac. So
True.
but
True. That's very true.
in the comment section, let us know what I asked Doc. Do you guys think he'll beat him first year? And
I
do you think
so.
Deegan is in Jet's head? Let us know in the comment section. All right.
I don't think he's in his head, but I do think he could get a win. Watch who.
Okay, so now moving on to our biggest surprises of the weekend. Let's stay in the 250 class. And for me, this is Deegan's teammate, Michael Bozeman. And I feel very bad because in Moto 1, he should have had a podium, and then his bike gave out at the very end. And then Moto 2, he was just honestly ripping out there. And he went, if I'm not mistaken, 4-5 for 4th overall, I believe it was.
Yep.
I actually, do I have the
it is
4th overall? So I think personally that is awesome for Michael. And I was listening to some interviews regarding Michael, and he would actually be on the box more if he just didn't have some weird situations like Thunder Valley bike problem, Hangtown second moto, he should have been on the box, crash last lap, and then Southwick, now his bike blew up in Moto 1, where if that doesn't happen, maybe he gets another podium, right? And so I guess it's not necessarily a surprise because he's been up front all year, but he was riding fantastic out there, and I want to give him props. So that's kind of why I put him there.
He was riding great. He's been riding great all year, like you said. My surprise, Tom Vial, dude.
Ooh, okay.
Like, I mean, again, a 3-3 for Tom, I don't really think is a exceptional ride or anything to be really surprised at. But this year has not been ideal. But mostly just how he did it. You know, first moto way back and then climbed all the way up back to 3rd. And like, he looked way better. Like, I'm hoping that it wasn't just sand. He's comfortable with sand. He's great in sand. And I'm hoping that for Jorge as well. And we'll get there. But like, Tom looked a lot more like Tom. And it was good. It was good to see.
What about your 450 biggest surprise?
I mean, has to be Jorge, right? Like,
yeah, that's mine as well.
I know you predicted him to be top 5. And so like, and I was hoping, you know, again, we're all kind of hoping that Southwick would be a time that he bounced back, but like, not in this, you know, I didn't expect him to bounce back the way that he did. Now, he was on the ground multiple times, and so I don't think his 5.6 represents how well he rode at all, because I think he would have been on the podium both motos. I think he would have edged Tomac for the podium.
I 100% agree.
I mean, he looked fantastic. You know, I mean, looked really comfortable, really racy, and just really good. And I'm hoping that for both Tom and Jorge, that it wasn't just a comfortability thing on the sand, and that like maybe they found something and they're just feeling great, and we can see Jorge like that at Red Blood would be sick, because he does have an incredible style. He's really fun to watch.
Yeah, so like I said, that's my biggest surprise as well. And obviously I picked him top 5, but I didn't think it was going to go the way that it did. I thought maybe like he would get like a decent start, you know, 5-6, and then kind of just stay there, right? That's kind of what I was thinking. And while his results are exactly what I thought, he put on a performance that should have been 2nd or 3rd place overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
First moto, first moto, 5-6 start, passed Hunter, right? Or not Hunter, it was the guys in front of him. He was past Cooper Webb, and then it was AP, and then he got into 3rd, right behind Hunter, and he was riding great. Tomac was hounding him nonstop every single lap, and he was holding him off, bro. And then he tucked the front. Go get the sweatshirt, t-shirt, it's out now on exhibit.com. But then he tucked it, and then what I'm very happy about, I guess, as a fan, he got back up, got back into that pace, and almost passed AP at the very end in Moto 1, right? That's what I'm kind of happy about, because him going down, he could have, you know, we've seen it. He goes down and everybody just fades, right? They kind of give up on the moto, right? And he didn't do that. And the same thing happened in Moto 2, where he was a little bit even better on the start. I think it was Prado, JB, instantly. I think Prado was just got into the second right off the rip, though. And then held Tomac off for a while, too. And then made another crash, silly mistake with the lapper. Got crashed again. And then did the same exact thing, got back into a pace, found his groove, and just as a fan of Prado, it's awesome to see him get a top 5, but it's also sick to see him not give up where other riders possibly would have in that situation. And like you said, I'm really hoping this leads into some progress at Redbud. He has been there before. He has raced it before. And so I'm hoping that familiarity will help him at Redbud. But I'm not going to expect too much. I'm not going to expect a second place for that long at Redbud. You know what I mean? Because of what happened. But a 4, 5, 6 spot for Prado going to Redbud, I think would be ideal. And maybe even floating with a podium with Tomac and Hunter and AP. That would be nice to watch. But yeah, my surprise, Prado coming out swinging, looking comfy, scrubbing the crap out of stuff, dude. He looked like he was back. And then in an interview, she was like, yeah, it wasn't that great, man. The bike's not where I want it to be. I'm like, Prado, shut up. You did good. All right, just move on. But
he seems grumpy.
Yeah, he seems unhappy with the bike. But I mean, that performance shows a lot that what he can do and what he can accomplish in the class. So hopefully it translates over to Red Bull. Let's go and do some letdowns though. All right. And let's say in the 450 class. And for my letdown, it's a guy who I put 3rd place, and that was Aaron Plessinger. All right. He did not have the race that we all thought, aka myself, thought he was going to have. He went 4.8 for 7th overall. In both motos, you can see it clearly on the TV. I think he was just getting overheated, and he was fading a lot, especially in that second moto where he tipped over, and he just faded so much. So my letdown necessarily isn't like anything crazy. It's just I hope that he was going to get a podium, and he did not do that, just overheated. And I wish he was up there with the boys. He was riding so good in the beginning of Moto 1 too. So
that's mine as well. When he tipped over, you could tell that like that. I mean, if you guys have ever been 20 minutes deep into a moto and then you tip over, everything hits you so fast, and it is so hard. Like to your point about Jorge doing really well, like that is so hard to do, to like just not let that phase you whatsoever, not let like, man, your body temp just cranks as soon as that happens. It's like a radiator, and then all the wind just stops and you're just like dead. So yeah, a little sad about that. I also have Tomac on there just because I'm sad. But
I mean, you did predict him to have a perfect day, so I mean, your letdown is valid.
Yeah. For 250s, I have Joe.
Ooh, I actually have Joe too.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. Like,
let me say mine. All right.
Yeah.
I predicted him to win.
Yeah. Well,
he did not do that. It wasn't even close. All right. First moto. This is one thing I really wish motocross did. AMA did. Put a camera on every single factory rider there freaking is, because he went from dead last to 10th place, and how sick of the footage, how sick would it have been to watch that footage of that. That's kind of my only thing with AMA. Can we please do that? At least on factory guys, please. But yeah, 10th place Moto 1. Same thing happened last year. Tucked the front in the freaking start, buried, got up to 9th last year, got up to 10th this year. Second moto, what happened? 2nd place. So, I mean, at this rate, nobody was beating Deegan today or in Southwick, let's be real. But
it's pretty much a win. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a win for Joe in 2nd place, and that could have happened in Moto 1 if he didn't tip over. So
I'm really sad. It was really cool to watch him do so good at the beginning of the year. He looked fantastic, and then it's just been like not ideal since then. But like clearly gets up and he can go 2nd again, you know? I mean, a 10-2 is just, it's not there, Joe. I don't know. I'm curious. Like, again, Motocross Nation is coming up. I'm very much interested in Joe in a 450. Could do some damage, maybe give me a little hope. You know, I like Joe a lot.
For Joe, I wonder what happened between Hangtown, right? Where he went 2-2, 2-2 at Paula. So basically Thunder Valley to here. What happened that changed from Hangtown to Thunder Valley? Like, and then that just led into High Point, and then that's leading into Southwick. Like, what changed?
I mean, you literally never know in this sport. Like, Buddy could have like a broken arm and they would just never say it. So it could be something like that. We have no idea. Or this is also kind of Joe's MO.
Very
you know,
true. Or he could be
does this.
sick because I feel like everybody's sick this year.
Yeah,
So
true, 100%. I mean, we'll never know because sport doesn't say anything.
Okay, so now going into best rides, let's stay in the 250 class. And now we have already talked about Michael Mosman. That's why I put him on my surprise. Deegan could definitely win this, right? Like, let's be fair, 25 and 10, right? But I'm gonna go with someone else. All right, I'm gonna go with two teammates, not two teammates, just teammates. Mikel Harrop and Jalik Swoll. Mikel Harrop, we knew that he's a sand rider, so like we expected him to do good. I think he did extremely good. All right, 5.6 for unfortunately 6 overall. However, he was up front the entire moto. He was battling into the very freaking end in both motos, so that was awesome to watch. And then on the flip side, his teammate Jalik. Now his results don't show it. He got 11th here, but he started up front in Moto 1. He started, what was it? I think it was at one point 3rd or 4th in Moto 2. And then at the last lap, he tips over and get 15th. As we just talked about with AP, when you tip over, you hit the wall, right? And so that makes sense. But before that, he was riding great. So I just want to give a big shout out to both of them. A little minor one. Sorry, I'm going on tangent. Parker Ross, shout out to you. 12th overall, 13-10. That's great.
I also have Jalik. You just said all the things that I was going to say. So it was funny, as we're doing this, I actually was looking at the results and decided to change it to Jalik because I was like, you know what? Actually, Jalik was barking. But I had Tom, which I already used him as my surprise. But I thought that was really great considering he was on the ground and really fought for it. Now, I'm going to rewind here. I know. I'm just throwing you curveballs. Back to the letdowns or like confusion. Julian Beaumer went 18-22.
I said this. He's not an outdoor guy, man. He's not a sand guy either. So
yeah, they were talking about how he's like literally never ridden sand.
Yep.
You know, or like,
dude, he's from Arizona. Where do we have sand, bro?
You guys got dunes everywhere out there. It's not this. I mean, I guess it's not the same kind of sand, but.
I mean, you did live in Lake Havasu. Like, is there not a beach in Lake Havasu?
I used to ride sand all the time. I'm from Cali.
Yeah, but you got the ocean over there, man.
I didn't ride it on the ocean, bro.
I don't know. I don't know where to go.
He's a factory guy. He can drive to the ocean if he needs to. You know, I don't understand.
He can go to a compound like Club MX, man.
Or why not go
to Why not go to Baker's, man? They got a sand track there. Why is he not at Baker's?
Or like Deegan rented Southwick 2 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it was last year.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I was looking down the results here and that was really far down. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so since yours is Jalik, let's go to the 450s then. Who do you have for best ride for 450s?
I mean, obviously we could go with Jet, but I'm not. I'm gonna try when we do best rides. I'm gonna try not to do the person that won unless it was like spectacular. Which I guess both of these guys were spectacular, but I also kind of expect them to win. You know what I mean? Like Hayden and Jet, sorry, you're too good to be considered for the best ride. But Hunter was really strong, like really good, like really strong.
Like I said before, I did not expect him to pass Tomac straight up. I just was not expecting that, and he said in an interview, like, yeah, I found this line early on. I was waiting to use it. I saw the opportunity, and I took it, and he just never looked back. So, yeah, fantastic ride by Hunter. I was kind of thinking that, too, because we don't give Hunter enough praise, I think.
No, nobody does.
Yeah, because he's just behind his brother, right? We give his brother too much. But Hunter, 100%. Another guy that you actually predicted correctly here in 9th place, Justin JB Barsha. He went 10-9 for 9th place overall. You got lucky with that. I'm not going to lie.
I did not get lucky. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. You know what I'm saying?
But he rode fantastic out there. Obviously, you didn't get too much of the TV time, but still getting into a top 10, coming back from a knee injury where all these other guys have been riding freaking 5 weeks straight where he's barely been on the bike for about a week. So, yeah, fantastic ride for him. Also, privateer guy here, Harry Koulos, 9-13 for 11th overall. That's fantastic. Yeah, that is awesome to see. Shout out to his team, too. MRSP Husky, I think it is. The Dayton's team. So, shout out to those guys. But, yeah, great ride by them. Okay, so now we're going to do a little fan question segment here. Instead of hot takes this week, we've been giving out way too many hot takes. I don't know if we can even come up with any more hot takes until the end of the year.
Tomac's going 1-1 at Red Bud.
But I asked a few of you, or I asked on Instagram as well as Discord some questions that you guys wanted us to answer, and I'm gonna read off some from Instagram. So first one up is by Joby. He says, "Where does Deegan rank in the 450 class? Where do you think
right now?
Right now,
Like, I mean, it's really hard because we haven't seen him on a 450, right? Like, but I would say for sure in that top 5.
I would think so as well. I would say
Like,
5-6.
I would say higher than that, but like within battling, you know how the top 5 have all just been kind of trading positions?
Yeah.
I think it would be like the top 6, all kind of trading positions, and he'd be in there.
I agree. I don't know if he would be 1-2. As of right now, I don't think so.
We don't know. You know, he could be a dog.
Yeah, that is very true.
He's got the fitness. I mean, he's got the technique.
I think a safe bet would be 5-6, up in the 5-6 area.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why he couldn't get a podium in the 450, unless he just does not gel the 450.
That is very true. Yeah, he's definitely a podium guy. 5 or 3 through, dude, a second through 6.
I don't know, bro. It could be 1 through 6. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, that's kind of where we rank Deegan. Okay, so second question that I have from Instagram is from Kaysen. I think that's pronounced her name. If it's not, I'm very, very sorry. But he says, do you think Hayden races the end of the moto season on a 450? And now,
No.
I brought this up in the reaction video. I'm like, if he wraps it up early, does he race a 450 at Buds? And I think there's 2 things that could happen here. One is, yes, he could, just to get familiarity with the bike. But then the second thing is a lot of people are saying this to me was, he gets like 100,000 for a win. So why would he give up that money? And so those are the 2 things.
Unless they know some info about like donations and how they're going to structure the team, and like if they're going to put him on a 450 for whatever reason, that's the only way I see that happening. Because like I would say for him, like obviously money means a lot to him and it means a lot to everybody, but like him having the ability, like the more prep to beat Jet straight up, I think that pride means way more to him than 100K because he's got all the money in the world at the moment. So like if there's a scenario where him and Motocross Nations team talking about being on a 450, like he's gonna race MX3, yes, 100%. But if not, then no, not a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that is a valid point because go back a few years ago, Jet did Moto of Nations on a 450 and then did 250 Soupy and then hopped on the 450 outdoors. I could see a scenario where it's something similar. I think that situation though with Jet is because they had Hunter and they had whoever their third guy was, right? But I can see that, especially if something happens with say AP or Tomac and they have to pick up another 250 guy.
I mean,
I would love to see it, honestly. I would absolutely love it.
I mean, it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be sweet. I just don't see, assuming that J. Coop, Tomac, and AP are healthy and Sexton are fine, and he's in the conversation, I don't really see why you would put, because like who else are you going to put on a 250 that's as good as Deeks? I mean, like you could argue Kitchen, but like also get gapped.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only 2 guys that you can bet on right now are Levi and Michael Mosman because Chance Hymas is out.
Yeah, I don't really think Michael Mosman is there yet. Levi has the potential to win, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't put him over Deeks. I like the Kitchen too, but
the next one is Mikey. So the next one's from Mikey, and he says, "Can Kitchen beat Deegan if he gets a better start?" And the answer is no. Not right now.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, that's just I don't know if that's ever going to happen this year. And then we have a couple questions from our Discord. First one up is, does Hunter... So Hunter, I guess, didn't jump... Or I guess Hunter jumped on the red cross flag. And I guess he didn't have a penalty from it.
I saw that. I was wondering about that.
So... I believe he should have a penalty. He should have a race spot taken from him because that's how the red cross flag works. So in that question, I would say yes. I don't know why they didn't penalize him, unless something else happened.
He definitely didn't roll. He didn't clear the jump, but like he jumped to the face of like the little knuckle before the landing.
So
like,
maybe he didn't see the flag in time.
Second lap.
Oh,
It was the second lap. The red flag was up. It wasn't the first lap.
Oh, I was gonna say if it was the first, I didn't necessarily see it. But so if it was the first time going through, then maybe he didn't see it, and that might be a valid. But I don't know.
I'm like 90% sure it's the second lap. Chat, if I'm wrong, I'm not making things up because I hate. But like it was a table, and there's like the little knuckle at the end, that always forms, and he jumped like and faced that little knuckle.
Gotcha. So if he did do that, or obviously he did do that, I would say yes, he should have a penalty. I don't know why they didn't give a penalty.
100%.
That would put necessarily Tomac up to second. So I don't know. So
Tomac's back.
and then the last question I have is, we kind of already talked about this, but with Prado looking back, how do you think he'll do next week? Do you think he'll have some progress, or do you think he'll just kind of go back to his old self, or like the old first 4 rounds? And I think it's going to be a stepping stone. We talked about, I think it will help him at Redbud. He's also familiar with the track. So I think personally it will be progress. And I think, like I said, I think he'll go 4-5 the rest of the year. I think he'll be in that mix for a podium spot, but then maybe kind of shuffle back a little bit. But I think he'll be 4-5.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see like championship Prado all of a sudden, but I do think that, like it has to build some sort of confidence.
It has to, right? And he also, shout to Chad Reed. He's also helping him at club. Chad was on the freaking broadcast, and they said, "Oh, are you helping with Prado?" And he dodged it for freaking 2 minutes straight. But I think he is helping with him. And then also, I guess Phil is helping him too. So that's pretty cool.
Well, Chad's on like club's payroll now.
Yeah, he's over there, living there, helping the riders.
So, of course he's helping them.
So,
Yep.
So those are all the questions that we have currently. But if you guys want us to answer some more questions, I'll make sure to post this on Instagram, Discord, and probably Twitter going forward, so we can answer some of your guys' questions. It's Twitter. Till I die, it's Twitter. But yeah, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for all the love on all the videos lately. You guys have been absolutely killing it for us. And we'll be back with our predictions this week for Redbud. And I'm very excited about that. And that's kind of all we got. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys hit the like and sub button, and we're out.